This bit, and I think they might actually throw it in. I'm seeing a Spectre onto Magnum. It seems peculiar to buy that if you're not actually going to use the ult.
It could be to set himself up as well, though, if they want to play a retake at some point. I like the fact that they play early aggression and don't just gamble, hold down one part of the map with it. But now that you've not seen them, you know, those rotations have to start coming through, and they are. Question is, are NIP going to commit to the B side? I'd be quite surprised. They haven't found a pick. They're not seeing Fnatic trying to really keep them back or even take those fights on range.
Look at this re-aggress.
Now they're realizing there's probably a push out of the defense here. NIP are trying to catch it.
They're right on the edge of them. Only a couple of players. Like, this is definitely going to be a surprise. And bear in mind, Magnum's the one with the gun in hand. So the first player going down isn't so much of a problem. Shandy, I think he's aware. He's baited him in, but Magnum will win the fight anyway and then fall back to try and put this pressure onto B once again.
John still tucked in the corner. Look at that. The timing was perfect to distract Mystic, pulling his crosshair away. Nade and Snakebite down to the site, but the spike has made it out successfully, and BNJ waiting in middle to catch that rotation. Finds massive results for that. Hyper got to do it all, and he realizes now that they're rotating. Honestly, he probably just tries to grab a weapon here from one of those downed enemies. I don't even know if he'll want to go for it once he gets that in hand.
Oh, it doesn't seem like he is. He's just going to run back towards the site, maybe try and catch someone else, make things a bit more costly. The one thing that isn't really there at the moment for NIP is that extra economy. So any extra kills he can get could at least make the latter rounds of the half a little bit tougher. They're going to know exactly where he is if BNJ doesn't give him the time of day. Already dropped 6-3 in favor of the Ninjas, and Fnatic, well, they need a turnaround right now. Far out of control.
Yeah, it really is. You know, the defensive side is split. To tie up is really not ideal. And that's the best case scenario right now. The base result for Fnatic. This one down.
Yeah, just opting to try and lock down this side of the map. I don't think that's really going to deter NIP too much. In fact, you can already see a couple of players trying to pressure it, but they've had so much success at being able to shut down Mystic on this B site as the solo defender. Like, I really don't think that so far his Omen has really worked out for him, at least on the last couple of maps. So they've been trying to find if he's looking to get cheeky, looking to get aggressive, but in this round at least it's much more passive from Fnatic.
Yeah, you see that even in the orb control, Tom. I mean, they gave it up completely in B main. We've had the orb taken by Cowanzine, who's now one away from getting the res back up again. And this is a big concern. Two players still towards the A side of the map holding down this control. And NIP are going to be doing what has worked for them again and again, splitting in through Heaven and trying to fight the B site. They need a ton of utility, but they don't really. They sort of waited back for it. Showstopper not finding it, but he still gets the kill down below. This is unbelievable. There just seems to be nothing that NIP can do wrong.
No, what he did was wrong. It was disgusting. I feel gross, but like it's just the way that he flies into the site. The showstopper gets absolutely nothing because of all of the counter utility, and then just has that reaction instant headshot. Like that's a desk breaker. Like someone's just hit a loud bang on the stage with a punch through the desk, because ultimately, at least in the early stages of that round, Fnatic didn't do anything wrong, but then NIP just come and break their whole setup apart.
Yeah, I mean, that is absolutely unbelievable. The fact that you see him fire the showstopper, fly through the air down below, being shot at the whole way, and then land and stylishly just tap away, take the kill. Like, oh, are you shooting me, bro? Sorry about that. NIP hunting down the final rifle. Magnum is surrounded from all sides. He's paranoid up and about to be dropped on.
I like how it's your man who's the only sane one within the bunch.
Thank you, Fearoz. Why? Oh my god! Oh my god, Boaster!
Oh, no.
I hate it! I hate it so much! They haven't checked it! They're running through! Oh, Boaster! He's only good for the one! That could have been massive, but one kill found. Fnatic on the back foot again.
Now what are you gonna do? The double Judge Bucky retake. Things you never want to see! Oh, well, Bezany is not going to be happy with that one. Mystic now he's looking for the ultimate clutch. This would be the biggest flex of his entire career if he was able to somehow pull this one home, and unfortunately, NIP are just giving him no chance.
I would have booked NIP's flight home if they lost this 1v3, to be honest. I would have been sat outside the venue in the truck ready to drive them to the airport. You can't lose a 1v3 to a judge, and NIP make that very clear. For Straws, they're not out here going, oh, we need a showstopper to win the round. And even this, they run in through the poison orb. They leave Boaster unchecked with a judge.
Yeah, it was so close to him getting so much more, which is the unfortunate truth of the matter. But, well, for the players on Fnatic, I think a fourth is a lifeline at best.
Well, here comes the paranoia to start. They're worried about maybe a judge up close. I wonder why. Well, he's on the side already. Shanji's blast packing in, opening it up. John trades out. They've got site control. Magnum's going to try and contest.
Oh, no.
That was not pretty. Not pretty at all. 5 versus 2. Mystic grabbing a couple of kills. This maybe makes it doable. And Firot's one away from res.
Yeah, there's at least a possibility here. He's going to try and fake out the TP to the side. The problem is the wraparound. There is the kill for Firot. Now they can look to try and find the res, but he's dropped down. No! He's missed out the player, and he's still got caught, but he still manages to land the kills. What have I just witnessed? That's the ugliest clutch in Valorant history, but it's a round on the board for Fnatic.
I'm looking at the wall, and it's making as much sense to me.
If you have anything of the sort. Now, we're going to see an early aggressive camera. I imagine that was heard, but it's still just going to give the information. And the other information they get is from this double duelist mid-peak.
No more charges left.
You know, you say peak, right? They're having a little bit of a look.
They peaked.
They're gazing down every so often. Yeah, they unpeaked right after. They're tucked in. And I'm kind of surprised. You know, I said early aggression is what I expect. I expect confidence off the bat, but NIP are clearly looking to close this out. They're not trying to mess around, not trying to give any advantage to Fnatic. And the pistol round really, it could be so valuable for this attacking side. It looks like we've got a fake being set up here with Boaster. Holding for any B main aggression. Probably going to pop his util in towards B. And they'll blitz out afterwards. They've got a decent setup for this as well. They're able to block out Heaven and use their wall to cross over. So not too bad.
He's pulled the rotation as well. Kawazin going to have an awful lot to do in just a moment's time, but he's put the slow down. He's bought himself at least a moment or two, and it looks like they're just setting up for the retake, with the rest of the players still being able to run back. He's doing that with a classic, just tapping heads through the utility. And whoa, okay, sure, it will be the site taken from Fnatic, but again, look how fast that rotation's already come through.
Of course, you got John picking up Mystic there. Another frag for NIP as they gear up for this full push. Boaster trapped down in sewers. He's so far away. And the rest of the team's falling. Firot does his best, but only the one to be found initially. And that went exactly as you expected in the 1v4. NIP have picked up the pistol, and that is another nail in Fnatic's coffin with 9 rounds on the board now. What did Fnatic do? We saw NIP lose the first pistol and then force buy and completely overrun Fnatic, but I don't feel like we're going to see the same out of the attack side for Fnatic now.
The other thing as well is a lot of the force buy. Sure, plant, that's the main necessity, but you also like to get a few kills just because it gets you those extra few pieces of utility. They got 1 kill, so likely to put 10 on the board for that defensive side going in. Like, I wouldn't really be counting on any team to be able to bring that back, especially not one when you look at Fnatic, who have desperately struggled in recent times to actually play on this attacking side. Bear in mind, the last time they played this map, Mitch, they got 0 rounds on the attack, and that was the first half.
Yeah, it's not great, actually. Yeah. 0 out of 12.
Yeah, and then you remember the previous one, you should do, it was 44 rounds. I think they got 3. Now, we then did see in overtime 10 attacking rounds in a row, but this time they can't afford to get 3 in regulation because in case anybody can't do the math, they will have lost.
Yeah. This is certainly not the easiest of games for Fnatic, and we know all the issues that they're dealing with, but NIP is the main issue. Now, look, 1 kill on the board already is decent. But Fnatic need to get more out of it.
Where John is.
Like, the man's a lunatic. He honestly, he's deranged. He just runs at them and takes map control with sheer confidence. And the thing is,
have you seen Rogue One?
Yeah.
Have you seen the guy who's like, I'm one with the Force is with me.
Yeah,
Just walks out in front of, I am one with the Force is with me. Just walks out in front of all of the bullets. That's John.
It's unreal. Here he is catching the rotate. Hey, Mystic. Oh, a little tag, and he's dashing into him. Of course he is.
Hey, he wants to get that Blade Storm. He's trying to edge towards it at least. And
10 seconds.
well, the remaining players, if anything, on Fnatic just have to die. Boaster's found one, but at this point, yeah, going down is the more important thing just to make sure he gets...
I think, was it a flawless round that we saw then? It was very close to anyways. The point being, they better win this round right now. And NIP get to use these weaker weapons on the defense, so they can hold these nasty angles and try to initiate on their own terms.
Looking at John's position, just sat in the smoke. He almost wins that duel. Feroz has to actually heal himself back, but luckily it was only a Spectre on the other side, so they will get off to a strong start. This is a current crunch on mid. Like, they know that there's that extra piece of utility. Jandy waiting patiently for anybody to go for that peek, and more importantly, they are going to spot both players currently in towards Heaven, but that might actually almost convince them to go back towards Jandy, which is... I feel like that's a worse decision, just because it's him.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, there's 3 players on this A side of the map. Obviously, no way for Fnatic to know that. Great flash. Gonna be moving over to the B side. Good call by Fnatic. They're playing this one blind.
Close hyper.
There's no need for that now. Boaster's gonna be sending some angry messages. I'm kidding. I don't think Boaster can get angry. I don't think it's possible. That's the plan secured, at least for Fnatic, and now 5 versus 4. NIP will try to just do what damage they can.
Yeah, chances of much, slim, but they do still have the paranoia. That's why he sat outside the back of the site. He's looking to just try and almost create an incredibly awkward position for the remaining players of Fnatic as the rest of his team come through. Now, they've got to try and break the wall up top, which is going to give information that there's at least players wrapping back around. And they are all kind of locked into the site. Now, sure, they had the exit through B. There's the paranoia. Feroz has to drop down, but he has cover. And that's the main thing. B&J, though, actually wins that battle. They can't really lose too much more. Bear in mind how many buy rounds are probably going to come back through, and there was a chance for B&J to do some real damage. But again...
Still, it's not in the healthiest of spots, but they can drop over and have a full buy. Again, though, the problem becomes with that little bit of damage that NIP did, they're going to be able to push Fnatic into a pretty uncomfortable spot.